Hello there everyone, this is Iron Mark 3 and welcome back to Battlevoid. The hell? To Battlevoid Harbinger, yes. Where me and my best bud for life are hanging around. I say best bud for life because it's best bud for his life because I am hoping he'll get killed and then I'll be able to salvage his corpse for scrap and, you know, all that jazz. But for the time being, he's a lot of firepower to just drag along with me to help me just survive these earlier times. I'm actually kind of lucky to have found a guy with so many weapons on him at this point. If he'd had less weapons, he'd have already been killed, but, you know. But, yeah, 7 turns left on him. Okay. As you can see, this area is being heavily reinforced by enemies, so there's a lot of stuff wandering around out here. But I'm not going to bother picking these up because I do need to get moving a little bit. We're on episode 3 and I've barely progressed. I've been as far north as these. So I've not even hit one of the main objectives yet. It's just flat out I'm trying to survive and build more power, as I mentioned at the end of last time. But that is paying off. Oh, is it paying off? I mean, my ship's decked out. I've got Gatlings, I've got double rockets, I've got shield boosters on my own ship. So it's like, aha. I'm actually fully kitted out. So we're going to have a look at 2 more features which I've not actually mentioned yet. First off, I mentioned that if I build up funds, I can spend them to reinforce myself. I can. Formation. I can call in allied ships. I can have up to 3 ships under my direct control at once, and I can fit them out the same way as my basic ship. It doesn't matter if you lose these allied ships, by the way. Well, actually it does, because they're flipping expensive to bring in. Also, you can see most of them are locked, so I can only bring in ships of about my equivalent tier, but they allow me to mount extra weaponry and stuff like that. And you've got some lighter versions as well, like I can afford to bring this guy in, a light carrier. Really small, really weak, but really fast. But that guy will have a single carrier slot on him. Then we've got a scout ship, which is about the same, but has got a single weapon hardpoint. And then we go up to bigger and better ships. The problem is that you want the bigger ships get progressively more expensive to call in to help you out. Like, this guy's an assault ship, he's got a couple of weapon hardpoints, but he's got only like a couple of backup weapons, so he actually can't be upgraded that much. Same as this guy, really. Single weapon point, but a single carrier slot as well. Then we get up to a Ravager, which is like a grade below yours. Again, double weapon hardpoints, but not much in terms of backup. I think this guy, the Falcon, doesn't actually have any backup slots at all. Whereas this guy gets some supporting weaponry. Then you've got your own class of ship, the Nightingale, which is the same as yours. And when we've got the other ship that we unlocked, which is the Raven, again, same as yours, that you can actually pick at the start of the game. This becomes more relevant later on. But they have their uses as well. Like, as I said, it's like flat out you get more stuff, you got an extra target for the enemy to deal with, that kind of thing. Let's actually start moving. And jump. Because you can fit guys out with, you can fit your ship out with an escape pod, so if your ship does happen to get blown to pieces, you will eject, basically. No, but, hey, focus fire on the... Oh wait, he's dead. That guy's guns are very useful. Like, you can fit an escape pod to your ship, so if your ship blows up, you will eject, and you can get to one of your allied ships if you've got one. So, you can use that to buy yourself a second life if you've got supporting ships around the place. Or you can fit them with teleports and things. That's another module, which I wasn't planning to talk about those actually, but there we go. You can, if I pull that weapon off for a moment. Yeah, so you've got a teleport module here, which allows ships to blink around the place. So you can use it to get in or out of trouble. There's the escape pod I mentioned. Allows the commander to flee should my flagship be lost. And then you can dock with an allied ship. Then another upgrade module, of course, is the missile jammer. Doesn't work against Celestials because they don't use missiles, but it knocks off homing missiles so they're not tracking properly. And there's also a bigger shield booster as well. It's like the smaller one. It's like the small slot version, but it's a lot more powerful. Things like that. So yeah. The other thing I was going to mention though is these guys, distress beacons. Really small. You can stack them up to 4 in a slot. You can sell them, but they are incredibly cheap. However, they do have a very important use. That's 2 enemy ships down. Right. With a distress beacon in your cargo, you can use this button, which is marked Distress. What this does is, it pulses the nearby sectors with a distress call, and they can pull enemy ships out of position. So, if an enemy ship's force is like building up, or there's too many for you to really deal with, you can hit a distress beacon and try to call them, and they'll usually dispatch a couple of ships in your general direction. Quite useful. If you want, you can wait for the incoming ships and then shoot them, or you can actually jump out after you've called them with a distress beacon. You can jump out. They'll fly past you in hyperspace, and you'll fly past them. So if you think you can deal with what's left in the sector that you've called them from, then you can just bypass them and let the ships go away. So, you know, it's useful for pulling the enemy strength out of position. There's one enemy left. The problem is I'm jumping into a nebula zone. I mentioned this a few episodes back. It's the other type of hostile zone. I'm going to jump in. Nebula zone. They deplete your shields rapidly. So if there's enemy ships or allied ships, they're always going to start with no shields. Your shields will deplete quite steadily as you go in. Oh, they've got enemy reinforcements. 3 ships. Oh dear. That's kind of bad actually, but I think we can take this lot. Especially since they don't have shields. And my ally is tanking the damage. Well, he's tanking with his fighters for the most part, actually. Yes. Kill them all. Good. Good. My ally survived that, though, somehow. Probably because I was actually wading in to help a little bit. But yeah, as you can see, my shield drones are trying to restore my shields, but there's not enough of them, so my shields are just depleting immediately. I didn't run into the other effect of nebula zones, though. Oh, there's some Celestial Bolters, but I don't need them, so I'm just going to scrap them. Celestial Bolters, they're energy weapons, so yeah, Celestial version superior. Human version inferior. I can, however, get an accuracy boost to that rocket cannon. There we go. So, the other effect of a nebula zone is every so often at random, it'll generate an EMP effect, which will disable your hyperdrive, so you're forced to wait there. So, you know, that means you can't jump out. You've got to wait a turn. And that means that enemies might be moving in, or it'll just slow you down in general. Oh, I think he's about to die. Yep, there goes my ally. Oh! Hooray for scrap! Also, it kind of sucks to see my ally dead, but you know, he left his fighters behind. Oh well, more scrap for me. 2,400 odd scrap though, that's pretty good. Can I afford a new ship that I want with that? I think I might be able to. No, 3,500, 3,700. I could afford, like, this guy, a light scout carrier. I'm going to hold off and continue for a heavier ship. No, thank you. Oh, but yeah. My plans for my ally have come to pass. Ooh, there's an enemy ship coming in. I will wait, actually. Get some more use of these surviving allied fighters. Yeah, look at that. Because the things are synchronized, they're firing in volleys, which is quite useful. That's why you're surviving so well. Those fighters are actually really decent. Oh well. Goodbye, my ally. I got your scrap, so I don't really care too much. There's nothing here, so I can jump out. That's another nebula zone, though. I'm going to jump into here, so I can start to volley him down. Hopefully there's not going to be an EMP. Yep, EMP surge. Ah. There we go. Disabled FTL engines for a turn, so I have to wait. However, I can... Yeah, I think I can seriously outrange him at this point. Yep, the problem is he's disabling my engines, but he doesn't have any kind of repair system, so I can do... Yeah. His drones are getting in the way of my missiles, but he's going to die very soon, so I'll be fine. If only he wasn't blocking my missiles so damn much. Oh, also, by the way, I can't jump out, so I've got to kill this guy no matter what. Come on, I only need a few more hits. Keep tanking it. I can survive this. Fire! Oh, the Gatling's decided to come into play. That's actually kind of bad. Oh dear. Incoming missiles. Oh, actually, I might die here. Oh dear. Yep, he's getting into bolter range. One more volley. Oh, I'm almost dead. No! Ah! And that's the problem. I need to start over again. Oh, and I was doing so well too. I lost. 1 out of 4 maps, 28 sectors. As you see, it penalizes you for the number of turns a bit, but yeah. I didn't even make it that far. So, you know what? I'm going to go charging in. This time I'm against the Wanderers. They don't use... Yeah, the problem with Celestials, though, as the first one, is they are very good at stripping away shields, and they've got disabling weaponry, which slows you down. If I'd been able to move faster on that one, I could have outranged him, but his ion cannons got me. Species about home planet, driven to live as spaceships and roam the universe looking for resources. Generally very aggressive and possessing knowledge of many different technologies acquired from captured ships and other species. Mediocre use of battle tactics. These guys use a lot of rockets, I believe, if I recall correctly. Okay, here we go. On the only bright side of this is that you get to see different tactics and, well, different opponent. I'm going to speed up though, so pick up an item. Okay, sure. I've got 1,000 starting. So I'll grab a projectile, I'll grab an energy, I'll swap them around, and this time I'm going to work on my starting weaponry straight out, so boost the projectile cannon. And we will begin. These guys are the ones that use a lot of rockets, aren't they? Yeah, that's a rocket finder right there. Fortunately, if they're attacking head-on, as I mentioned, rockets are a solid thing, so if you're firing a lot of Dakka in their general direction, then your weaponry can double as point defense guns. This actually used to be a thing, by the way, because once upon a time, like a year ago, I think it was, human projectile cannons had a rate of fire boost. And it was actually taken out because it was overpowered. But before that, you could like increase the rate of fire of the weapons, and it could get stupidly fast in terms of how quickly they could fire, to the point where they actually doubled as point defenses. And you could win the game pretty much by outfitting yourself just with human projectile cannons if you gave them speed upgrade, because then it's like, ooh, if the enemy's got missiles, sucks for you because you're firing so fast and your shells are so heavy. Any missile that connects with your cannons is just flat out gonna, die, because the only thing that could actually survive it is, I believe, a nuke cannon hit. Only a nuke cannon could even survive a single shot. All other missile types and rockets would just like get flat out shot out of the space. So, Okay, yeah. Yeah, they also use a lot of rocket cannons, by the by, so, yeah. I really need to get some point defense guns for this. But yeah, standard missiles, it does look like it's like they've got 10 hit points flat out. So, yeah, that's the only problem here, is that they use a lot of missiles, Wanderers. I think it's the Troglar that use a lot of point defense rapid fire weaponry. So yeah, I need point defense weaponry to deal with these guys effectively. That's my priority right now. Give me a Gatling. As I mentioned, it's my favourite. Can't afford another one, but I can at least get a hull upgrade for this one, so it's going to do more damage. I am a little bit damaged, but not... Oh, there's 2 enemy ships on the prowl. Wait, did I not pick up... Oh. Whoops. Apparently I didn't pick up the thing I was meant to pick up. Okay, grab that. It is a human shield booster. Close. Completed mission 2. And the reward is that I've got a shield booster. However, I don't want that shield booster, so I'm going to scrap it. Which gives me 900 flat out. Oh good, they've removed that bug. Yeah, it used to be if, well, in the mobile version, if you pick up an item for a quest like that, and then you scrap it, it says mission failed. Even after it's giving you mission success, but in this one they seem to have fixed that. Oh, it jumped out. Yeah, that's the other drawback of the Wanderers. Some of their ships just flat out have point defense guns and that's it. And that was one of those. They're incredibly weak for and easy pickings, basically. Okay, I've got double Gatling. Actually, Gatlings are more useful than shields against these guys because, as I said, they've got a lot of rockets, so more defensive fire, good idea. And I'm going to follow this guy because he's going that way, and the other guy's just flying around as well. So I'm gonna chase and kill this guy. Yep, here he comes. Come to me. Hello. Now the thing is, now he's going to try and close in, but my weapon is just going to flat out murder him. So yeah. There we go. So yeah, as you can see, I've gone for different weapons because I'm against a different opponent. So that's one of the interesting things about this. You do need to tail yourself a bit to try and deal with what you're up against. And these guys can't slow me down, so there is that. But the problem is they've got lots and lots of guided and straight fire weaponry. So, you know. This guy's just a flat out carrier with some point defensive guns, so I need to stay a bit clear of him. Preferably. Yep, he's launching rocket bombers though. I'm going to speed the game up because I am aware that I've lost some progress time. Yep, there go my Gatlings dealing with that guy. And there we go. And I actually did that without getting hit, but I've not really faced too much in terms of stiff opposition at the moment. Wanderers, though, if you're prepared for the rocket fire, it's like they are one of the friendlier guys to have as your starting opponent. Yep, another carrier guy, that's absolutely fine. However, you've got to be wary if you lose shields because up close because they focus so much on projectile weaponry, they have a lot of Gatlings of their own. So that means that on the flip side, your own missiles and rockets are not going to be very good against the Wanderers. Let's go and repair. Yep. All right. I've only got 3 points. I can't afford to upgrade anything. I can, however, get a new system. I'll grab a shield regen drone because that will afford me a lot of protection against their non-missile based stuff, just having some basic shield regen drones again. Because they'll help keep my shields up. My shields are kind of flimsy, but that's okay. I'll be able to cope with that. But it helps prevent bolter fire and Gatlings from outright damaging my hull. So, you know, it's just going to flat out be useful in general. Let's jump to here. Also notice, by the way, they're lower tech, so I'm not getting as much technology and things from them at the moment. But then again, I'm not getting much in terms of salvage. Oh. Yeah, target that guy with everything. There's my Gatlings operating defensively. So as you can see, it takes a few hits, but they can shred the incoming rockets out of the air quite handily. So they are effectively shutting down the enemy fire at this point. And my shields are absorbing the enemy's point defense fire. So yeah, if I can get the Gatlings upgraded in their anti-hull, they'll just become more effective flat out. I don't want to get this close because it's less time to intercept the rocket. Oh, he's dead, never mind. There we go. I took a single hit there to my rocket from an enemy rocket at some point, but I'm okay. And I've got a distress beacon for my trouble. Excellent. I'm going to boost damage on that side. There we go. One thing I could do actually is side stack myself. So like, then I can make my tactics about positioning. If I take off 2 Gatlings from one side and have double Gatling on the other, then it's like, I always want to be going this way, and I want to have this side facing the enemy. The problem is then I'd have no point defense systems on the other side, so, you know. No, I can tell it's focus fire on a fighter. You can't do that on the iPhone version. But yeah, that guy's just sitting there launching rockets at me, so, you know. Don't really want to let him keep doing that. But yeah, you can see the speed difference, though. Those ships were using missiles on me. These guys were using rockets, and they were just getting in faster, so there was less time to deal with it. And that's why you want more damage and longer range on these guys. For the Gatlings, you want to max out damage first, so it becomes a question of a single hit taking care of an inbound enemy thing. And range then gives you more time to intercept and makes them more useful anti-fighter, that kind of thing. So it becomes a question of priorities. What would you favour more? Like, I could thicken my shields, as I said, if I took off half of my Gatlings, but that would be like I'd be leaving one side completely unprotected. So flat out Gatling is more useful against this particular opponent because there's fighters and rockets, and they've got I think they're the only guys that actually have rocket fighters. So you know, you want to avoid rocket hits where you can because your shields won't absorb the impact at all. You'll lose a few points of shielding, but the rocket will just punch straight through it. Keep going. And look at this, I've already made more progress in this one than I did... well, in terms of distance, I've made more progress than I did in the previous attempt. But on the other hand, though, I'm not as powerful. There's a container here, okay. I'm not as powerful, though, because in the previous one I managed to upgrade to double rocket cannon and get those upgraded a fair bit. So I was knocking through enemy shielding. In this one, I've not got as much resources. Okay, let's detonate that. No trap. And it's given me a toy. Okay. Oh, there. Flipping asteroid. What are you giving me? You're giving me a shield drainer. Ooh. Fancy. Questionable use, though, because these guys have weak shielding, unfortunately. But this effectively gives me an anti-shield weapon where I can sap the enemy for regaining my own shield strength with a laser-like attack. I don't really want that, though. I just want to hammer the enemy shielding until it disappears. That said, and the limited range is also an issue. 485 range only. But a shield drainer is great for reinforcing your own shields, especially against Celestials. It's a great anti-Celestial weapon because it saps enemy shields to restore your own. Oh, and I ate another asteroid. You know what? I'm going to test it to show you. I'm going to jump in close range to this guy. I'm probably going to eat a few rockets, but at least you'll get... Yeah, he's got a missile weapon. Shield drainer is turning around. There's the shield drainer. As you can see, it saps the enemy shields extremely effectively, so that's why it's a great anti-celestial weapon. But once the enemy shield is gone, then it becomes just flat out a damage-dealing weapon. Oh, the enemy was set. There was a lot of enemy fighters here, which almost killed me, actually. Oh dear. But yeah, the payoff was definitely sweet because I've got 22 upgrade points out of that. I'm going to swap back out for... actually, wow. I didn't stop to look. Yeah, look at this. Shield damage 565. Hull damage 385. So this thing is actually incredibly dangerous. It's just got a limited range and it's slow firing. Tempting, but I don't really want that, so I'm going to scrap it. It's a rare thing, though. You can't buy your own ones of those. 22 points on the upgrades, though. I'm going to max out that cannon, get another point in that cannon. Yeah. That's going to help. Problem is, though, I'm now actually badly damaged and there's no sign of a repair zone nearby. There's also 2 enemy ships in the next sector, so I might have to make another trip back to get fixed. There's also the problem that I've run out of time for this particular episode as well. Oops. Ow. I might have to do a mid-space repair, actually. Okay. Yeah, I think I might have to do a mid-space repair, or just take the time to fly back. But yeah, this has been I Am Mark 3. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I'll catch you all some other time. Yeah, see you all later as I continue Battlevoid Harbinger.